That's loud. Let's turn this down. Sorry, I'm running a little late this morning. Apologize. What is the tone I got up here? Doesn't seem right. Let me try something else. Input 2. I already have that. Yep. All right. Hey, Roger. Well, good to see you. Long time no see. Hey, Holly. Cooler weather's nice, huh? That was funny. Yeah, on the YouTube page, it doesn't. I don't look as pink on my. It's like my camera, it's weird. OBS, I don't know if I can change the white balance. That would be nice. I don't really want to get into too much. What's this? No, that's right. Okay. I don't have buffering on. Maybe I should turn buffering on. Well, we're good right now. I think we got plenty of. So let's see. I'm gonna let some people get on board. Sorry if you're checking in here, you got a notification. You're like, okay, teach me a lesson. I'm gonna give it a minute just till we get a quorum, as they say. Maybe 20 or 25 people will be nice. No, I'm good. Oh, good. Oh, you do watch the videos. Okay. Well, thank you. And I apologize. Oh, dang it. I need to go back and see. Let me see if because they always put a billion ads. So let me take out all the ads. I only want a couple ads. I don't need a billion, but YouTube will put in a crap ton of ads. Let's see, monetization, manage mid-rolls. Yeah, see, there's a million ads. Okay, I'm so sorry that happens. I'm gonna take out all the ads. I'm gonna add one at 30 minutes. And I'm going to add one 30 minutes later approximately. I'm not even looking at the placement, so I apologize for that also. It's not enough. It doesn't make me enough money to sit there and watch the video and go, this is the perfect place for an ad. So I should back off a little bit. Got a couple new instruments this week. Hey, Joseph, how you feeling? Bob, Bruce, good to see you. Yeah, we got actual rain too. I think that happened before. I think that was on the couple days before my last live stream. So I haven't had any rain since then. But rain in September never happens, so that's good. And it's really cool. In fact, I had to put on a flannel. But loving it. Loving it. We really only had to run the AC for about 10 days this year so far, and that's it. And I don't even live near the beach. It's been a very cool summer, so I'm digging that. Good to be seen. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, you feeling so-so? Sorry about that, man. So yeah, we're gonna talk about moving pentatonics. Movable pentatonics. I don't know. What did I? Oh, I gotta fix this. I thought I fixed it. That's so weird. Okay. So yeah, maybe check in here in the chat if you can. If you're new, tell us you're there and where you're from. I always like to see that. I know Bruce is in Florida and Holly's in California. Joseph is in California. Bob, I forgot where Bob is at. He's gonna have to tell me. Roger was in California. Are you still in California, Roger? I can't remember. Because you worked at Northrop for a while. Jack, my son, works at Northrop. I need to tune. Would be a good thing. Wish they still made these IntelliTouch tuners. Just so simple, and batteries last a long time. The Snark tuners, I bought a bunch of those thinking they'd be great, and they're great, but the batteries die so fast. I think it's because they're so bright, which is handy. Outdoors, that's really handy, but I don't play outdoors very often. In fact, never if I can help it. I hate playing outdoors. It's the worst. Let's talk about our worst gig ever. All right, that's going to be way too loud. I can tell already. Where's my apogee? All right. Hey, Urs, what's going on? Good to see you, man. I'm guessing Urs is in Germany. Or Sweden. But not yet past your bedtime. I don't get anybody from Australia. I've got family in Australia and in Thailand. I don't get anything from there because it's like 3 in the morning or something. So, Charlie B, what's going on? Paul, good to see you. Oh, everybody's checking in now. Hey, Granddad's guitars. Bradley. I'm gonna go in here just like and I'm gonna pull out. I'm gonna roll off the bottom end on this a little bit because on the guitar, because that's where it gets woofy through the microphone here. Although I'm kind of using a jazz sound, I don't know if you can hear it. The other thing I notice when I'm watching these on live stream, when I'm watching these later, like on the rare occasion that happens, I realize, like especially on the heavy gain tone, you're hearing as much come from the guitar as you're hearing from the speakers. So it sounds like it's this weird tone. So you're never hearing my tone, which I'd have to have, let's see, I could set this mic up and have a mic here, or I should get another mic like a SM7 or something, and have that mic right here. I just never like to have something in my face. I don't want to have it here. I think if it's over here, it's probably good enough. And then I take the stereo signal off of Logic and throw it into this. So I would need some kind of little mini mixer, and I don't know if OBS has that built in. I'll experiment with it at some point, but Switzerland, oh, I was wrong, dang it, okay. Yeah, I figured you're lurking, Paul. Paul is in outside of Chicago, I believe. Yes, I have over 800 videos. It went up fast with COVID because I was doing one a day for a while. So I threw down this just simple Breeze and George Benson kind of jam. I'm going to roll off that kick too. Don't need so much kick. Yeah, I can see the kick is... already the downbeat and the end of 2 are already hammered with the bass and the piano. We don't need the kick killing it. All right, so it's just a simple, basically. I'll show you the chords real quick. It's always good to know the chords. Okay, so what the heck is this one? This is not. retitle it so I don't accidentally think it's jazz. Okay, so the chord's basically C major 7, A minor 7, D minor 7, and then kind of an F over G. Some people would call that an F11 chord, I mean a G11 chord. I just think G11, it doesn't have a B in it, it doesn't have a D in it, so I just think F major triad over G, or in this case, the first chord I hit, I think I went on the piano, I hit the major 7th on top, so F major 7 over G. But I'll show you F over G. So we have C major 7, which is the first chord. Always good to know the chords, kind of inside and out, especially if you're going to be jamming over it. Oh, full tone is now mute tone. Full tone pedal. Full tone. Was that a pedal company or was that the name of a pedal? Why is full tone pedals out of it? That's weird. So many pedal companies though. It's like anybody, oh, I've got an idea for a pedal, or they know how to, they go to school, like electrical engineering school or something. They go, hey, I want to start a pedal company. Fairly easy to get started on that kind of thing. And if you're a one-man operation, you probably could make enough. And, you know, if your pedal gets really popular, then, but I think there's only so much you can do. So yeah, I have a dual, was it a dual drive? The blue one. I bought it because several of my favorite guitar players had them on their pedal boards, and I bought it and I could never get a good sound out of it. And then I realized they were all like playing humbuckers, and I'm playing single coils, and I just don't think this pedal likes single coils. So, you know, I've never really tried it with a humbucker. I don't play Les Pauls live very often. Sometimes. Oh, it's just this is a 54 reissue, Japanese one. I really like it. I actually traded an American standard telly for this one, because this one had a lot more of that Nashville twang that I was looking for. The telly that I had gotten was a little bit too smooth sounding, a little jazzy sounding. Ironically, I'm playing jazz on this right now, but not really playing jazz. But okay, so let's just talk about these chords real quick. It's a C major 7. So I'm borrowing. You could play it with like a C chord with your first finger off, if you want to find an open version of it. Okay, and then a bar chord version of it. Bar at the 3rd fret, top 5 strings. And so just touch the bottom string though with the tip of your first finger, so that you're muting it. And then we're going to make basically like an A major 7 shape or whatever, slid up. So it's going to be 5th fret on the 5th string, and then, I'm sorry, 3rd fret on the 5th string, then 5th fret on the 4th, 4th fret, 5th fret, and 3rd fret. See that? So it's nothing, and then 3, 5, 4, 5, 3. And you can just play the middle 4 strings. You don't need to necessarily get that. That G on top is redundant. I'll write this out right here real quick. Hold on. So C. If you're wondering how I got that triangle in there, if you hit Alt in the Mac world, I don't know if it's true for PC, but if you hit Alt J, which is the name of a band, you get the Delta sign, which is probably what it was a secret way of saying their band name was Delta. So yeah, so C major 7, and then there it is right there. And then you could just go for A minor 7, so that's the 1 chord, then we have the 6th chord. A minor shape. Not quite. A major 7 shape up there, if you want to think it that way. The next chord is A minor 7. Just bar all the 6 strings at the 5th fret, and then add your 3rd finger on the 7th fret of the 5th string. And that is A minor 7. I'll write that in here too. A minor 7. And that would be 5, 7, 5, 5, 5, 5. Almost a phone number. Okay. So it's like, I didn't sit on these chords very long. group I wanted, but it was just what I pulled up really quick. Too much reverb. Too much reverb. Yeah, there we go. That first chord didn't ring out because the pedal was triggered before the downbeat. Sustain pedal. Yep. So here, I'll fix that. Okay, fixed. Now, let's see if this sounds good. Okay, the next chord was the 2 chord. So this is a 1, 6, 2, 5 progression. It's essentially a 2, 5, 1 progression, which is the most common 3-chord progression in jazz. But I put the 6 in there as a sub for the 1, so you're not sitting on the 1 chord for like two bars. It gets a little boring. I could go. And the 5 would be G7, but I'm doing more of a George Benson vibe there on like breezing. They would put that sharp 5 in there too. And breezing's in D, so it's up 2 frets. Okay, and it's smooth jazz. But this is instructive because we're going to do something that's going to work. That's going to work in rock, country, folk, pop. Doesn't matter what genre you're in. You might be able to pull this trick off, and it's one of those things I've talked about before many times. But we're going to look at it again. So, all right. So A minor. So we got C major 7, A minor 7, and then the 2 chord. The 3rd chord in the progression, but it's the 2 chord, is D minor 7, and that's going to be nothing on the bottom string, so deaden it, and then 5, 7, 5, 6, 5. So it's another bar chord. If you want to play it in open position, you can play it like that. So I'm just barring the top 2 strings and putting my 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and I'm playing the D string open. So it's a 4-string chord. That's an open chord version of D minor 7. But here's the one I'm playing. D minor 7. Let's see, X, boom. All right, there's D minor 7, and then you know, I really like these 11 chords, but it's F over G. G11 could be shorthand, I guess. That would be a faster way of saying it, but F over G. The thing about F over G, G11's a little bit easier to transpose. So if you're going, oh, we're going up a minor 3rd. Oh, okay, G11, B flat 11. But if you say F over G and you've got to transpose it, you got to transpose 2 things. So F to A flat and G to B flat. Okay, so A flat over B flat. So sometimes it's fine to call it an 11 chord when it's really not. It's more of just a triad with a different bass note. In fact, you could even call it, like in this case, let the piano go in here. If we go F, A, C, E, G, okay, if I play an F chord and I put an F in the bass, it's root inversion. If I put an A in the bass, it's 1st inversion. If I put a C in the bass, it's 2nd inversion. If I put an E in the bass, it's 3rd inversion. If I put a 4th, if I put the 9th in the bass, it's 4th inversion. Okay, so seriously, don't worry, there won't be a quiz on this. Okay, so you don't have to know this. But if it goes, and the inversion thing is more of a music theory class, high school and college kind of thing, learning inversions and stuff. And we use inversions all the time. Like if you play a D over F sharp, that's a 1st inversion D chord. If you play like D over A, that's a 2nd inversion D chord. So we use them all the time. We just don't necessarily know. We call it D over A or D over F sharp. We don't know that they're called inversions. Well, if you carry that logic out, so root is where the root's in the bass. If I play a D, okay, where's my guitar? If I play a D chord, right, that's a root inversion. If I put a F sharp in the bass, that's 1st inversion. If I put an A in the bass, which I like it when you play the E string with it. That's a great chord. It's kind of it's reminiscent with that open E string, kind of reminiscent of Rolling Stones. Okay. And then if I were to put the 7th, say C, in the bass, okay, the D7 chord, then it would be a D over C, and and that would be a third inversion chord. If I were to go up another third and put an E in the bass, that would be a fourth inversion chord. I've never called it that, really. You know, I would call that D over E, or you could call it E11. Okay, now I'm going to show you a little thing. So here's how I'm playing the F over G, okay, or the G11. Oh, is that, if I say there won't be a quiz on it, is that a sippable offense now? We have a drinking game, but I don't do the offenses very often. Hey, Charlie B, good to see you. Okay, so I'm assuming by the silence on the chat that you guys are all like glued to what I'm saying here. Okay, so let's say this of the four chords, this one's probably the most difficult, but it's okay in this key if you go ahead and have the E string open. It kind of even makes it even smoother, like that. Pretty. But you don't have to, or you could bar the first finger. But here's what's happening. I'm basically playing my first finger on the first fret of the second string, my second finger on the second fret of the third string, my third finger on the third fret of the bottom string, sixth string, and my pinky is going to be on the third fret of the fourth string. So I'm muting the A string and technically muting the E string, but you don't have to. You could bar or you can leave it open. Okay, and that's an F over G. Now, one thing cool about this chord is this is a common chord. And then you had to stop, Holly, to type that, didn't you? Totally counterproductive, teacher. If you take this and go up 2 frets, and then go up 1 fret, and then you go up 2 frets, go up 1 fret, you go up 2 frets, you get an Earth, Wind, and Fire horn section. And you notice I'm grabbing it with my hands, because that way I'm not hitting any extraneous notes. And I kind of discovered this one back in the 90s. I had to, I was teaching clinics for Maranatha Music, and we had 3 sponsors. We had Peavey was Peavey a sponsor? I think Peavey was a sponsor, but Taylor Guitars was a sponsor. So that's how I got my 814. And then also Roland was a sponsor, and they wanted us to hawk the guitar synth thing, and I'm like, you know, I just, hey, look, guys, I can sound like a flute. You know, it's like, well, hire a flute player. Or if hire a synthesizer. Oh, look, I can sound like a big fuzzy synthesizer. Well, then hire a synth player, you know. It's like, be a guitar player. I never really liked selling. But what I did do was I came up with a bunch of kind of iconic, I don't have a guitar set up with it right now, but because it literally I had to screw it. In fact, you can still see the screw holes in my G&L where I had to put the pickup in. Not that I minded doing that; they were paying me a lot of money, so I was like, I don't care. But I came up with a bunch of kind of iconic melodies that worked for all the different sounds, whether it was organ or flute or horns. And so this was what I did for horns. I think the other thing I would do for horns was, what was it? Tell me if you know this theme. Let's see if I can. Shoot. If I play that with like a trumpet quartet, it totally sounded like the theme. What theme was that from? He just celebrated his 93rd birthday. I love the guy. Love this guy. And we used to listen to his comedy records going to church, like the ones from the 60s. Actually, he paid for that himself. I think it cost $50 to make the record, and it was Columbia's biggest selling record of that year. It was like 64 or something like that. So, but anyway, you know, if you're gonna try to sell something, you want to kind of put it in the best light you can. So, which I'm not doing now. I don't even know. I don't work for Roland, so they can't fire me. So yeah, so the 4 chords that we're gonna jam over for this example: C major 7, A minor 7, D minor 7, F over G. If you want, I can show you that. I didn't put it in here, but that's that. I got to type in the. Sorry, let me type in the F over G or G11. Get all academic here. My numbers are all over the place. It's weird. Not even. I've hit 20 once. Where's everybody? Come on, people. So we have. Let's see. What is it? What was it? 3 X. 3, 2, 1, X. Yeah, that's basically it. And then the G7 augmented, or G7 sharp 5 is what I generally call it. I'm playing third, nothing, third, and then nothing, and then third, 4, and 4. It's kind of like the first chord of Oh Darling, but I think Oh Darling is just a pure augmented chord, no sevenths. It's something like, no, wait. I think something like that. I don't know if it's C. If it's a C chord or B. Just setting up the one chord. I hate it when I get these phony. All right. So let's see. Oh, where's Sam? Sam okay? Anybody being in touch with Sam? Just got coffee on my face. Okay. So I'll write that G7 sharp 5 chord in too for you. All right. G7 sharp 5. And that was 3, nothing, 3, 4, 4, nothing. All right. That's a great chord to know. Did we do it last? No, we didn't do it with the blues thing. We did the flat 5. But you can take that, if you just play that A13 from that jam, the blues chord progression thing, and slide your pinky down, you can do something like that. Or you can go to a major. It's a great, I love, we've never talked about this because this is kind of more advanced stuff. But when you're writing, or I'm not writing, but when you're doing a chord melody, like a jazz chord melody, you take the melody and you make sure it's the top note of your chords, and then you throw you find the voicing that goes with that melody at that moment of the song, and you put it below the chord. So it's like. Right? So it's. So the melody is a D and the chord is an E flat major 7, and so I'm playing an E flat major 7 with a D on top. If I were to play to all the way to the G chord, you lose, your audience is going to lose that melody. You don't hear it as well. So you just kind of keep it on top of whatever you're doing, which may mean you may have to go. You may have to play it the melody higher than you normally. You may be like, oh, I want to play giant steps in there. No, you're going to have to play it up here because you're never going to find chords low enough to. What is it? It's a great exercise. But those are chord melodies, and that's kind of like when I was a kid and I couldn't find a band, I said, well, I'm just going to be a guitar player by myself. I'm just going to play. Because I used to go, like when I was a kid, I used to go to clubs and sneak into clubs, and my dad would take me, or go to all ages places and see like Herb Ellis and Jim Hall and Barney Kessel. They would tour around and just do their solo guitar thing. It was like, that was a total thing. And Indianapolis was a big stop because Indianapolis was kind of a big jazz town. I mean, Wes Montgomery was from there. I never saw him. He died in '67, so I was 6 years old. My dad saw him many times. But yeah, I never saw him. I've seen his guitar. It's at the Children's Museum in Indianapolis. But okay, enough about me. What do you think about me? Don't answer that. All right. So now I'm going to get to the meat of the lesson. All right. What I want you to play just the basic. I'm gonna call it a major pentatonic. Okay, I don't need this here. All right. Except I'm gonna make it a lot smaller. I can put it there. That works. Make it a little bit bigger, but I'm going to probably make it smaller as we go. But you see the R's; those are the roots. Really, okay. Let's do this. Let's go over the E string because this is what you need to know. The minimum you need to know is well, for this lesson, you only need to know where the C is, and it's right here, 8th fret. But for doing this in any key on any song, you need to know your bottom string. Okay. So we have E, and you should know it anyway for power chords. You should know it anyway for power chords or for bar chords. But if you don't, here we go. We got E, and then E to F is a half step, so first fret is F. F to G is a whole step, there's G. G to A is a whole step, 5th fret is A. Then 7th fret is B. 8th fret is C. 10th fret is D, and then all the way up to E, there we have an octave. Okay, that's as far as we really need to go. I mean, you can totally go further, and I would ultimately recommend it, but get the first 12 frets first, okay? And then in between F and G is either F sharp or G flat. You can call it either thing. It's the same note, different name for the same note. It's called being enharmonic. And if we go between G and A, we have G sharp or A flat. Take G and make it sharp, we go up. If we take A and make it flat, we go down. Thus the meaning of the term sharp and flat. Okay, and then B and A, in between that we have B flat at the 6th fret. We keep going, sorry, I know it's kind of woofy. And then we have C, and C was at the 8th fret, which is the one we kind of need to know. And then we're gonna go, the 9th fret is C sharp or D flat. And we D at the 10th, D sharp or E flat, and then E. So just, if you want, well, for one thing, I can quiz you right now. So this is a quiz. There will be a quiz on this. Play a G note. Find the G. No, that's not. That's an A. No, that's F. No, find the G. Okay, that's G. Okay, where's the B? And if you have to go alphabetically up the neck, you don't have memorized, that's totally fine. The more you do that, the less you'll need to do that. Yeah, well, I just tried to fix that a little bit. Yeah. Well, when I was playing with this tone, like I hit this note, that's distorting because it's just a room. So if I get like that and turn down a little bit, it should be fine. I'll pull it down some more. I can control the bass here on the EQ. Hard to get a good jazz sound if you lose all your bass though. Okay, so C is right here, 8th fret. Okay, well, yeah, I didn't ask you that one. Okay, where's F sharp? Find F sharp for me. Because if you can find F, you can find F sharp. All right, that's good. 2nd fret. Okay, where's G flat? If you can find G, you can find G flat. So you go to G and then you go down a fret. And by down, I mean that way. The pitch gets lower. That's down the neck. Everybody thinks this is down the neck. No, that's down the neck. In my vernacular. A different teacher might say, come down the neck, I mean this way. But no, when I say down the neck, I mean that way. Because I'm talking about music. I'm talking about pitch. Like going down the keyboard. You go to the left. Yes. I use those, yeah, those jazz chords I use them as computer generated passwords. Yes, yeah, right. Okay, so yeah, so G flat was the same as F sharp. Okay, anyway, so you'll notice on this major pentatonic here that I put right here, let's see, where is it? It's over here. Oh, dang it, no, it's over here. I tried really hard to point in the right direction and I blew it. You'll notice I didn't put a fret marker and I didn't say what key we're in because this is a movable pentatonic, okay? It's not any specific pentatonic. It's all the pentatonics or none of the pentatonics. But if you put that R on any note, then it becomes that major pentatonic, okay? So if I put that note here, and I'm going to get some woofiness because that's just that note in this room. It's actually really common to all rooms. Let's see. You can literally grab that note and almost remove it completely. What am I doing? Why is that moving funny? So if I line that R up with the C note on the bottom string, then that I'm playing this at the 5th fret. And thus we are playing C major pentatonic. And you can go down to the A, that's fine. Okay, and that works great over this jazz jam in the key of C. C major, this is the key of C major. Kind of limited, but it gives you at least a playing field to use. I'm trying not to play any other note but the pentatonics. Let this jam play for a second. You guys go ahead and play along with it using that scale right there. You can add the blues note to it. Totally works, and the blues note is the would be the flat 3, and you're like, that's an E flat. There's no E flat in this chord progression, but it works even if you sit on it. It really takes it to kind of a bluesy place. Bend it. Now, just so you know, C major scale, just the diatonic scale, the 7-note scale, pentatonics are 5 notes. The C major scale totally would work in this context. So if I wanted to, I could add all the notes. Some notes may not work very well if you sit on them. Like the F works great here, but on the C chord, it's a little weird. But you just if you're in a diatonic key, I'll turn this off a second. If you're in any diatonic key and you hit a note and it's a little weird, as long as the chord progression is in that key, you can go up a note or down a note, and most likely both of those notes will work. So for example, over the C major 7 chord, if I had an F note, it's like, okay, that's not quite right. But if I go to A, oh yeah, that's nice. If I go up to G, that also works because it's in the C chord. So, but those notes that are weird, you could still play them, but I would be more likely to use them as a passing tone. You know. Also, something you should do, especially in the privacy of your own home, in your bedroom when no one's listening, you can sing along with your playing. That's a really good way to start to connect all the billions of ideas you have in your head with the 3 ideas you have in your hand. So I've talked about this before. And at first you're going to imitate with your mouth what you're doing in your hands, but eventually you get to the point where you can start playing with your hands what you're hearing in your head. Be anywhere near the pitch, but I mean, Keith Jarrett sings just almost melodic gibberish along with his playing. You can hear him when he's playing. You can hear he's singing along with. But George Benson would do that. A lot of people do it, and so it's kind of a cool. Like I said, it gives you another. If you get good enough to do it in front of people, it gives you another sound to add to your your vibe, and so. Oh, congratulations, Dennis. 14 years. We're about to have our 35th. The slide to the B and C sounds pretty good. Yeah. The B note is dope over all of those chords. Okay, the B note is that major 7th over the C. So it's a really sexy note in that. Over the A minor, if I play that B, it's the 9th, and it's just a beautiful, minor 9th chords are great. If I play it over the D, it's a 6th, and that creates. It's amazing the emotions that it creates. Right, here's C. Oh, that's just sexy. This is kind of beautiful, and then this is like tension, but not. And then over the hard to get that on that chord, but I guess I can. The F over G, I can put a B on top, and then it becomes more of a G11 for sure. Happy happy anniversary, yeah, right. I like that. I don't think we've ever talked about double stops. We should probably do that at some point. I'm a little concerned where Sam is. I hope he's okay. He probably went to the Michigan game and is like, he probably just got too overexcited. So, okay. So let's see what's going on here. Blah, 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 blah. So yeah, let's listen to that. It's that scale. The scale's not here though, so it's a sidetrack, and I didn't write that scale out, so I don't have that to drop in. I probably have a diatonic scale, but it's probably connected with a fret. But I can change that. Hold on a second. Let me see if I have one here. Well, there's so many in here. I don't think. I see a lot of the pentatonics in here. Diatonic scales. Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about it. Anyway, but either one of these scales, these two scales here are basically the same thing. Okay, just adding that blues note, and it just again makes it kind of tells you no matter what the song style is, no matter what the chord progression is, blues licks will always work. Almost always. It's almost like a default. or you could start there and then build from your solo from there, and that's where we're headed next, okay? Because we're not technically playing a minor blues scale, we're playing a major blues scale. One of my favorite licks to do is a grouping of 5 on that. I just was doing it there. I'm playing on the 2nd string, 5th fret, and then I'm playing on the 8th fret with my pinky on the next string down, so 3rd string, and I'm playing, so that's the blue note, right? And I'm going down to the 3rd finger, which is at the 7th fret. I'm going to the root, I'm sorry, going to the 1st finger, which is the root, C, and then I'm going down to the A. And the thing I like about is the grouping of 5. So that's kind of an unusual rhythmic thing. Now I could do it, I was doing it on the downbeats. 1, 2. No, I'm not. Shoot. No, I'm not. I'm doing 16ths. So. Yeah, that would be group. You can't hear where I'm hearing the beat, but. That would be 5. But I like doing 16ths because what happens is because you got a 5-note phrase, that if you play 4-note groupings, then that it sounds like a different phrase every time around. So it'd be like this. But if you want to do the groupings of 5, just make sure that this is the 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Another lick that I like to do, it's kind of a go-to if I'm like, I don't know what the heck I want to do right at this moment, is this one. I got this one from George Benson, but this is, so this one's 6 notes. Same kind of thing. I could play it as a grouping, like a 16th note triplet, you know, like that, or I could play it as just 16th notes, and then it would be like a 6, like it would go a beat and a half, and a beat and a half, and a beat and a half. So it would take a while for it to get all the way back around where it originally was. But this one is cool. You go pinky on the 8th fret of the 3rd string, so it's only on the 3rd string and the 4th string. Because I'm playing that one, and I'm going to my root. Okay, so I'm going E flat essentially to C, and then I'm going to do the D. So I'm at the 7th fret and into the root. So I'm going 8, 5, 7, 5. Okay? You practice that. It's a good little exercise for that pinky. Some people might do it this way, or I don't know if you want to do it that way. Okay? And then I'm just finishing. That's for the 6 notes. Then I'm finishing it off with 7, 5 on the 4th string. Picking is, I'm doing kind of a pure online pick, or alternate picking. Okay, so there's a couple little tricks if you want to work those up and throw those into your playing. You can steal work from me. I'm giving away all the secrets. Pro guitar secrets, right? That's kind of my moniker. I don't know. If I wanted to create like a whole school program or whatever, I tried to get that as my website, proguitarsecrets.com or guitarprosecrets.com or something, or prosecretsguitar.com. Okay, let's see, what else is going on here? All right, so that's that, okay? So again, if you line up the R, so if I put that R on D, now I'm in the key of D major, okay? And so let me just take the piano and the Okay, now we're in the key of D. So it's the same thing. I threw in that diatonic scale. But today we're just talking about pentatonics. And here's another thing. If you know all your pentatonics and how they're all connected, all the other pentatonics that go with this scale are fine. So I can go, because I remember I call this pentatonic number 1. I can go up to 2, up to 3, to 4, and to 5. So yeah, you can. I don't want to limit you to just the one pentatonic, but if you're a very beginner, this is a good place to start. I don't want to overwhelm you and show you 5 different major pentatonic scales and 5 different major blues scales, and then 5 different minor pentatonic scales and 5 different minor pentatonic blues. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to drop in the minor pentatonic. Okay. Hopefully you're ready for this. Where are you, minor pentatonic? There you are. Hope you're ready. All right. Oops, wait, where is it? No, that's what I'm, okay. Well, wait a minute. Hey, that's just the same scale. But the R is in a different place. Wait, that's not right. No, I'm going to lose my Starbucks endorsement right now. They pay me $1 billion a year to do these videos with a Starbucks cup right there, just so you know. Full disclosure. Wait a minute, that looks the same as the major blues. What's going on here, Tom? Okay, so this is the coolest thing about this, and this works in blues, this works in rock, it works in folk, funk, pop. It doesn't matter the genre. Classical, I don't know. Flamenco, yeah, maybe. But you just move the freaking scale up 3 frets and it creates the minor one. We've talked about this before, but I thought I'd show it to you again, just because you forget these things. So check this out. I'm just going to play the major pentatonic and I'm going to play the minor pentatonic. And it might be a little weird, but you can make it less weird. Oh, I'm in the key of D. I'm going to go back to the key of C. So we're going to go back down to the 5th fret. Ah, there we go. I might do the blues notes in there, but hybrid scales using the notes in both of these 2 scales. So if that E natural is there, I can go to that because you want to hear an E natural every now and then in this progression because that's the 3rd of the key. Oh, Sam, I was worried about you. I was like, I hope he didn't get partied too hard at the Michigan game. I showed you. You missed a lot, Sam. Okay, now one thing I will tell you is So remember I said you could go to the C major scale and it totally works over this progression. Oh, you know what? I should probably write the progression in here. What's the text? Let me add it to this. Wait, what? Okay. Oh, no. Here we go. So the progression is C major 7 to A minor 7 to D minor 7 to F over G. Just so you can see that, the progression go by. But you can kind of ignore that. It's a solid C major progression. There's no modulation. I didn't play A7, which you could do, because A7 leads stronger to the D minor than an A minor 7 does. So, right? But I didn't do that because I didn't want to muddy the waters here. I wanted to keep it very, very simple. So C major works fine for this. So I could play C major. Like you noted that B note. Who said that? That B note was really pretty. Was that? Dang, who was that? Was that Bob? Anyway, so the C major scale works fine over this progression, but C minor scale will not really work over. I mean, the D note's totally fine because that's in the C major, but when you add that A flat, that's going to be a hard one to sell. So I would just, for now, you know, and sadly, I don't have, I mean, you know, I could feasibly, like, what's he at? 9, let's see, what's this? 9, 13 and a half. I could totally, maybe I'll bounce this. It won't be pretty. It'll just start right away and then it'll just abruptly end. But I can probably bounce this 3.5 minutes, or yeah, about 3.5 minutes of this jam. And I could just throw that up on the Discord. Another reason to join Discord. In fact, let me throw all these diagrams up there. I haven't been on the Discord yet today, so. Where is that link? Where are you? There it is. And my session went really well last week. The one I had to cut away early for, if you were wondering. Not that you care. You don't care about me. Let's see. Tom's lesson PDFs. Okay, so here are all those. Holly's probably going to put them into one document, which is totally fine, Holly. I appreciate that. But if you want to spend your time paying attention here and learning stuff, that's totally fine. You don't need to feel obligated to do it right now. You can do it later if you want, or not at all. I'm fine with that too. Okay, so but all 4 of these diagrams now are up on the Discord, so that's a reason to join the Discord link if you have not. But hey, Jan, what's going on? I haven't seen anybody. Well, maybe I don't know if Brad's still with us, but. Brad, if you're still with us, or Roger, you know, well, Roger knows. Roger's a member of the Discord. Yours, I don't know if yours is still with us, but if he is, then he can check that out. Now, we've gotten up to 27, so not many. Boy, I'll tell you, though, that blues, my favorite blues jam, that one's done really well. I mean, that's a good, you know, anytime you touch on the blues, oh, hey, Brad's still here. Anytime you touch on the blues, it's popular. So what I may do is do a quick bounce of this, you know. Oh, I wonder if I do that, will it affect? No, it should not affect you guys. Let me just do a quick bounce, and I'll drag that up too. I'll call it C major jam, okay? Just a PDF. It'll be an MP3. C major jazz jam. It's not really jazzy. Oops. Jam. And then I can put it in the right folder so I can find it. If I don't put it in the right folder, I'll never know where it was. And I got work to do. I do have to get to work. One of the things I have to do is I have to film myself playing oud and bouzouki. Oh, and I got a new instrument. I got 2 new instruments, so I got to show you those too. I'm glad Sam is here. Sam will dig this. Kind of. But I've got to do a video of me kind of playing, nothing in specific because they're not going to play the sound. They're just going to show me playing it. But this one game I played on for Jason Graves, I think he's trying to get a, because they have a new category in the Grammys now for film scores, so or game scores. So he's trying to get a Grammy nomination for it. So I think he's, you know how they have to kind of pitch everything, you know, like do a, it's like audition, not an audition, but all right. So let's see if this will. Where's Discord? Where are you, Discord? Okay. Let me see. I'm going to put this in the lesson plan thing. Well, let me just listen to it, make sure it's not like something weird. Okay. So you got this. The tempo is 90. I didn't put that in here, but that's irrelevant. I just kept it slow. I didn't want to kill you on it. All right. Well, it looks like it's going to upload. Yeah. So you can jam to that. I won't make any money from you jamming on that. But I did put up the jam. You saw that last week. I put up the jam for the harmonic minor lesson we did, and so that one's a good one if you. Oh, I gotta close the window. Sorry, it'll be beeping at me if I don't. Okay. So again, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take the major pentatonic and I'm going to let's see. I'm going to go back and forth. Oh, thanks, Bruce. So I posted the link at the top there. I pinned it, but you may not be able to see it. You should be able to download that too. So, but you can super chat me if you want to pay for that MP3 that literally took me 12 seconds to make. You can do that or whatever. Let's see. What is the so the notes in the C major pentatonic, okay? See the C major pentatonic are C, D, E, G, and A. All right, we have the 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. The C minor pentatonic, it's C, E flat, F, G, B flat. So it's also 5 notes. So you could create a hybrid scale if you wanted to that would kind of work over this, and that's not including the blues notes. But see, the thing is, the major blues has an E flat in it, so the major blues scale, which is right here, I get a lot of time pointing in the right direction. I could never be a weatherman. That is kind of a loving send up to the minor pentatonic because it's got that E flat. You know, that E flat, that flat third, okay? But if we were to do a hybrid scale, oh, it doesn't. Oh, I did not know. Okay. Thank you, Bruce. It's good to know. So Bruce is saying that if you rewatch the live chat, I'll be talking. But the Discord link is also in the video description. So if you're watching this and you're like, where's the Discord link? What the heck are you talking about? No one ever comments that. So, but that's good to know. Let's see. If I created a hybrid scale, it would be C, D, E flat, E, F, G, A, and B flat. Did I get all of them? Oh, yeah, F, G, A, B flat. So if you want to, like, play that, it would sound like this. Right? And that could work, like when you play over the jam here. Remember in the bluegrass thing, we almost got the point where we could literally justify every single note, every note chromatically in the key of G. And that's kind of, we're getting to that point, because if I add the diatonic scale in here, I get that B now too. And I was going to teach on the bebop scale, but I didn't do it today. Well, we can talk about that. There's a couple of different bebop scales. I started doing some research last night and realized that there's no like one specific bebop scale, but a bebop scale, Sam, if you don't know this, is picking on you, is C, D, E, F, G, A, B flat, B, C. That's one of them. And my opinion is the reason that thing, it's just, I've talked about chromatic stuff all the time, and that's like, you know, you kind of really get that B flat or that 7th dominant sound if you do that. You take the root and go down 3 frets or 2 frets. But if you think about it, if I play 8th note, C major scale in 8th notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I end on the and of 1. But if I add 1 extra note in there, that flat 7, 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1, I end up on the downbeat. So that's, in my opinion, that's why they created that scale, so they could go. Probably some song somewhere. So anyway, and I, of course, I choose the woofiest key in my room, the key of C for this, but sorry about that. All right, so I'm going to kind of just jam on this. I'm not going to do a hybrid scale, but I might accidentally, while I'm in the minor scale, or minor pentatonic, I might hit a note that's in the major pentatonic, and when I'm in the major pentatonic, I might hit a note which is in the minor pentatonic. So as you kind of get used to it, in fact, if you know all 5 of your pentatonic shapes, then you can look at this. Okay, there's C major pentatonic because this note is C, okay? If you put the first finger on C, now you're making a C minor pentatonic. It's the exact same shape. All I've done is move that scale up 3 frets. But if you know all the pentatonic shapes from here, if you know pentatonic number 5, then you can start to see the minor pentatonic number 5 superimposed over the major pentatonic number 1. Don't worry, no quiz on this, but everybody take a sip. Drinking game. If I say there won't be a quiz on it, everybody takes a sip. If I say there's a quiz on it, you don't take a sip. You're going to need your sobriety to take the quiz. So no sipping on the quizzes. Okay, so so I might, like for example, the pentatonic number 2. If I superimpose that here, or move it, play that here, and think of the minor pentatonic at the same time, then I got all sorts of notes. I can go back and forth at will, because I mean I've been playing forever. So let me show you some of that. Show you what. Maybe if I can think of it, I'll say what I'm doing. So I'm going to play major pentatonic right here, root there. Pentatonic number 1. I'm on minor pentatonic blues. I'm gonna add the blues note. You gotta make a stink face when you hit that note. That's the only way you can sell it. Back down to the major pentatonic. Diatonic tone there. Now I'm up in pentatonic number 2. Hit it at pentatonic number 3. Now I'm going to go to pentatonic number 1 in the blues, the minor. Pentatonic number 2. So I'm going back and forth between pentatonic number 2. Almost a more effective way to learn this is to go, okay, let me, instead of playing the major pentatonic here, I'll do pentatonic number 2 here, which I didn't write out. I'm sure I have, but anyway, I'll play that because it's right on top of the minor pentatonic. So now it's even easier to kind of go between the two once you see those 2 scales in that position. So what I'm going to do is let's play pentatonic number 2, the major pentatonic, but position 2. Which is going to be, of course, it started on the woofiest note in my studio here. The second finger on the 8th fret of the bottom string, C note, and then pinky on the D. And we're outlining this major chord. So if you can visualize this C major chord here, this bar chord, that's 50% of the notes in this scale. Okay, so we have this, then pinky, then first finger down here at the 7th fret, then the 10th fret, 7th fret, 10th fret, 7, 9, and then slide up 8, 10, 8, 10. Backwards, it's 10, 8, 10, 8, and then position down 1 fret, 7, 9, and then 10, I'm sorry, 7, 9, I said 9, 7, 10, 7, 10, 7, okay, and then 10, 8. A good little exercise might be to do this. Play up the major, down the minor. Okay, up the minor, down the major. Okay, you get that? So play up the major. Sounds like an insult, a military insult. Up the major. Down the minor. Up the minor, down the major. Okay, let me play that. I'll play those two positions over the jam. So cool, so easy. Once you have those notes, once you can see, visualize those dots on your fretboard like they're dots on that screen. Bee Gees. That sounded like. What song is that? Sam, quick. Sam knows. Let me see if I can find the. Where is this? That's not what I want. Ah, here's what I want. Let me see if I can find. If I can find that major pentatonic shape, then number 2, if I have it in our folder from our live stream. Got all sorts of stuff in here, but it's 522 items. So it's like, we've been doing this for a while. There's a lot of stuff up on that Discord. I almost said a curse word just then. Trying to keep this PG-13. Okay, so here it is. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate this. All right. It's going to be blue or purple, but I'm just going to get rid of the. I'm going to get rid of the what's on there. So okay, so check this out. Ah, dang it! Hard to get the right thing. There we go. So this is the pentatonic number 2 shape. If you go back, you'll find yeah, hit that like, slam that like button if you get a chance. Hey Charlie, what's going on? No, he did the pentatonic lick too. That was Sir Duke. No, I was thinking. What is it? Somebody said it, right? Not Kung Fu Fighting. It's something like that, though. That's totally different person, but the name of the song. What is it? It's going to be one of their top 5 hits. Sorry, here's that hybrid. I typed it in, but I didn't hit return. And I didn't spell hybrid right. Hybrid. That would be the hybrid of both those scales together, okay? But this, so if I kind of play this and this in the same position, so the R would be there on this note here. That's the C on that, the root on that one. And then I played the minor pentatonic on top of it, then I have those two. this would work over jazz, rock, blues. It doesn't matter. Every genre, this could totally work over. Jive Talking. That's the song. Everybody was jive talking. Sorry, I knew it would come to me. I was about to look it up, and I was like, no, it's Jive Talking. I don't know what makes me think of Kung Fu Fighting. But anyway, all right. So let's see what. It's been an hour. I'm done. You got more than enough to work with. We may talk about this more next week. I'm big on, like, if I were just to play that one chord here. Let me create a loop here. Just the C chord. So I'm just playing pentatonic number 1, the major pentatonic right there. If I go up 3 frets, I get the minor pentatonic. There's some rub there, some stuff doesn't quite fit. If I go to the 7th fret, now I'm creating kind of a Lydian sound over that. If I go up to the 12th fret, now I'm creating kind of a major 7th-y kind of sound. I could even go to the 10th fret. It's gonna be weird. Get that F rubs weird. I could go, if I know that the 5th fret works. If I go to the 6th fret, that's like the most outside, but yet, if you throw it in there for a second, sometimes, or if I go down, like none of those notes, that C works. I'm sorry, the B works. That F sharp kind of works. It creates a sharp 11, a Lydian thing. But check this out. If I just hint at it, it sounds like I'm doing some crazy outside thing, but all I'm doing is moving a box around. But I'm always trying to get back to the home key is, when I felt like I've lingered too long on the chromatic down, or I could go, the chromatic ones, the one a half step below or a half step above are the easiest to kind of fold in, but I knew that it was a thing. I've known that was a thing for a long, long time. In fact, I remember the whole major minor pentatonic over a rock progression I showed to a guitar player that was better and older than me, but he'd never noticed it. And I pointed it out to him, and he practically threw his guitar down and ran around the house freaking out. He was that kind of guy. He was a really fun guy, a friend. I haven't talked to him forever. I need to call him. But yeah, it was kind of one of those things where a great guitar player, still plays guitar, still plays out there. But I've known about this since I was in high school, that you could move these pentatonics around and create different shapes and sounds. I didn't realize, like, when I saw Pat Metheny and I was sitting in the 3rd row, I'm like just a few feet from him. And he played for 2 hours plus, and I'm watching him, and I'm like, I'm amazed at how much of his playing was pentatonic based. I mean, there's a billion things you can do with those. And then when you start moving them around, like I said, technically, like we talked about in the bluegrass thing, the G, playing the G scale, the G major scale, and the G minor pentatonic, and the G minor blues, and the G major pentatonic, and the G mixolydian, and we talked about all these scales, and at some point we were like going, well, look at that, we've almost accommodated every single note in every chromatic note and justified it over a simple bluegrass progression, jamming over a G chord even. You can just about justify any note if you sell it, and that's kind of what Matheny was doing. He was like, man, I'm like, wow, those are pretty intense, like, harmonic substitutions he's doing there over those changes. Now, keep in mind, he's not playing good players are not generally playing over a very simple one key jam, modal jam. I would call this a modal, well, not this, that's a one chord jam. If I play the whole thing, I would call this a C major modal jam, essentially. But it's basically a jazz 2-5-1 or a 1-6-2-5-1 progression, or whatever you want to call it. It's the one right below here. But it's modal. It's in the key of C. It's also in the key of A minor. It's also technically in the key of D. But the thing is, it's not what we want to end on. Is this? It wants to end on the C chord, so I would call that a C jam. If it wanted to end on the D minor 7, then you could talk about it maybe being a D or a D Dorian scale or a D Dorian jam. Anyway, thanks, Brad. Appreciate that, man. We'll get together soon. Okay, I got a couple new instruments. I'll show you at least one of them. Sam, are you still there? Yeah, Sam's still there. All right. Okay, so this is an Arabic bazouk. Okay, I got to get rid of some of this stuff. Let me get rid of this. What is that? Oh, that one. Okay, get rid of that. Remove. Yes. Okay, and then I could just make these smaller. All right. Exactly. So one of our drinking game rules, if I change instruments, we all take a sip. I'm going to have to tune this. Right now, so it's when I got this, so what this is an Arabic bouzouki, or a bazouk, or it's Kurdish bazouk. In fact, these strings are a little close together. I think I need to cut some grooves, but I don't want to go too low because it's already buzzy, but I think it's supposed to be buzzy. So there's several things here. For one thing, I didn't know how to tune this, and the guy that sold it to me didn't know how to tune it either. I bought this from a place in Turkey, but I bought several guitars, several Arabic instruments from him, and it's not a very common instrument. So he thought it was maybe tuned in fourths, like G C. No, it wouldn't be. What was it? He thought maybe A D F. So, or no, A D G. A to up to a fourth is D, and then up a fourth is G. And I tuned one of the strings here to G, and it snapped before I could get there. Fortunately, I sensed it. I never really I kind of keep it away from my eye because I only have the one, so I can't have an eye poked out. At least not that one. No, it's not DAD. It's not DAD. And so I opened the pack of strings that because he fortunately sent me a new pack of strings. That's always the first thing you want to do especially on cheap instruments. The strings are going to be, you can upgrade an instrument just by putting better quality strings on it. So he sent a brand new set of strings on, and I noticed it was like, oh shoot, they were all in one envelope. It's six strings. It's six, but it's three courses, okay? 3 courses of 2 strings. And, oh, you know what? Do it? No, it's not. Okay. So I noticed that I was looking at the strings, and there's like, okay, there's 2 wound strings of the 6. There's 3 strings that are wrapped together that are really tiny and, really thin. but they're identical. So I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense, because why would I have like G's on top and then below it would be a D, and then that, if that D was, because it's the bottom two strings are octaves. So these are octaves, and these are unison. And so I'm like, okay. So I started watching some people playing this, and I'm trying to catch it. I'm like, what? Oh, I heard a note. Oh, it was F sharp. So actually, I've got this tuned to G here. So the bottom note is, and the thing I love about it, it's got geared tuners. Okay. Okay. So that's the first thing. So I got that string. I go, okay. So the bottom string was F sharp. The next string was B, but now I've got C. So we have the fourth thing going. And it took me a while to figure out that the top string in this, he was going F sharp, B, and I'm like, okay, what is that top string going? It was B, F sharp, B, B. And I'm like, oh, right, because the top two strings are unison, not octaves. So I tuned up a half step, so it's more usable for me, I think. Well, I mean, I can go down to B, F sharp, B, B, but I got it tuned to G, C, C. But see, now you'll also notice that the octave is right here. And I've got, let me see how many frets I have in the first octave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So I've got 50% more frets than normal. Now I'm starting to have the problem. Okay, but the tuning was the first issue. The second issue was, how do I hold this? I didn't see anyone playing this with a strap. And now I'm going to be like looking at Greek bouzouki, Sam, because it's probably the same thing. I just didn't notice. But you know how you know, like a classical, you would prop your, left leg up or whatever, and then you'd put it like this. You would, because guys are playing this thing and they're flying on it. They're just shredding on this thing. And I'm like, I can't hold the neck up and shred. It's not gonna, and plus these frets do move. So I really don't want to be rubbing my hand, the palm of my hand on the bottom of the neck and move the frets around. So I'm like, well, so I'm watching the videos just to look and see how they're holding, and I'm realizing, oh, they're putting it on the outside of their right leg. They're propping it. Nobody was teaching a lesson on this. They're propping an arm like this on it. So now look, the neck's not going anywhere. It takes a minute. So now I got an F sharp. I can do some bluesy. But the other thing is the strings are kind of loose. Like there's less tension on them than I would personally like. But then when I was listening to it, and like I said, that one guy had it tuned down even a half step below where I have it. So they're going to even be more squishy. But the thing about that is it creates that buzzy sound. This is kind of idiomatic for this particular bouzouki. But then, so I'm playing like a Lydian, a Phrygian scale. Remember, we learned a Phrygian scale. But I'm like, no. A Phrygian scale sounds very Middle Eastern and very exotic. But I was watching, I'm like, what do I do with all these extra frets? I was like, I'm going to mark the good frets. I'm going to mark the frets that are like, shoot. So there's basically a C minor scale. And I'm trying not to hit the, normally, actually, proper is to use an oud pick, which I'm not really used to. I like to practice. It sounds more legit, but with a regular pick, I keep hitting the top, and I think that's part of the reason. The oud pick kind of gets out of the way better. Oh, there's no. Oh no. There's no screws or anything there. I wish it were a truss rod cover. Like I could adjust the neck a little bit because I would put a little bit more relief in it. Like I said, it's a pretty cheap one. If I really get into it, I could upgrade. But like I said, I think the buzziness is part of it. So I'm messing around with this. So minor would be here. I love the Phrygian scale. And those two C notes, those octave C notes, make a great bass kind of like in some ways almost a tuning thing, like a centering thing. So I'm playing D flat, C. But the cool thing is if I just goose the D flat up a fret, that's not D natural. This is D natural. So I'm only going up like a quarter tone. So it's almost like a blues lick. But that starts to sound really legit. Same thing when I get to that third. That's like a quarter tone. There's the major third. I have majors. The nice thing is if the frets go out of tune a little bit, I can adjust them, but I can only adjust the diatonic ones. I don't really technically know where the other ones are supposed to go. But if I just slip into those little extra frets, it gives it that Middle Eastern sound. Like this is the fifth. This is the flat sixth. But if I go up, like there's the seventh. There's chromatic. I don't know if you can see these frets, but they're all over the place. Yeah, it's just a pretty little thing. That doesn't really do anything. That's just a little embellishment, you know. I'm actually looking at better ouds right now in Saudi Arabia, and I haven't contacted them yet, but they have some gorgeous, like really, really ornate ouds, and I'm like, okay, I want the best quality oud with zero ornamentation. Like, take all the money that I would spend on ornamentation, and I don't know if they speak English well enough to understand what I'm saying, right? But I'm like, I want zero ornamentation. I mean, you could put fret markers on. Well, actually, there's no fret markers on an oud. But I don't want anything. I don't need, you know, fancy anything. Save all that money, put it into better quality wood or better workmanship or whatever, better fretboard neck, things like that, and better tuners. But the sad thing is, if I buy, you know, I could spend $5 grand on an oud, and I'm still going to be stuck with 1-to-1 gear ratio friction tuners, because I have the oud up there that has the regular tuners on it, but it doesn't sound as good as a real oud. Like my cheap $300 oud sounds better than that one because it's got that big bowl, which is again kind of hard. It's like, I love the flat back American guitars, but these are kind of a pain. But now that I learned this trick about this instrument, you know, about propping it against the outside of my leg, I've never thought about that before. But it's like totally stable. This neck is not going anywhere. I'm digging it. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I haven't used it yet, and I think because I just literally got it a couple days ago. And then the funny thing is that he sent me this too. So now So I ordered this thing, and in the process of ordering this, I asked him if he had this other instrument that I saw on a video, and he said, yes, I can get one of those. Here it is. Here's the one made by this guy or whatever. It might cost, because it's got a really long neck on it, it might cost a little extra to ship, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, I'll let you know. You know, but when you're communicating with someone in a different culture, particularly culture, because he spoke English great, culture or different language, you're never sure what you're agreeing to or not agreeing to. So I gotta be careful. This is sticking out here. Oh, it's gone away. Okay. So I get the box with that in it, and there's 2 instruments in it. I'm like, oh shoot, did he send me? Is he expecting more money from me? And no, he just threw this in as a free gift. So he said, this is basically, it's a Saz, S-A-Z, and but it's not. It's actually a Cura, or Jura, is how they say it, but it's spelled C-U-R-U. I don't know if you're even interested in all of this. Apparently not. The live stream's dwindling quick. But the Jura, this is the smallest of all the Sazes. And Sam, it's tuned interesting. It's tuned. That's A-D-G, but the A and the G are in the same octave, and the D in the middle is down a lower octave. And it has the same kind of thing. It's probably 18 frets in an octave. I haven't counted. Yeah, so there's the halfway mark. So right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16. So we're less. I have no idea what they're thinking, but the low note's in the middle. So I haven't really messed with this at all. I probably will maybe use it more like for. It has a very small muted sound. The sound hole's actually on the bottom here. And I probably can hold it the same. See, I can't really hold it that same way against this. And the drag is it's got those friction tuners. Now, there is one thing about this that I really like that I wish my lute had. The tuners, if you'll see, the tops are kind of curved and flat. There's nothing in it. And that's for pushing your thumb and giving it a good push before you try to tune it. To shove it in there, all the better. You can just... Now my lute literally has a point right there. There's it's carved wood and it's a point and you can't push on it. It's like, am I supposed to break those points off? Because it's annoying to tune my lute. And the lute is 11 strings. So I've got, right? Is that 11 strings? Let's see. 8. No. Let's see. It's, let's see. It's at 6 string plus 2 more. So it's 15 strings. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt to tune. And they're nylon strings, so they're always going out of tune. So, I mean, I'm really not... And the lutes have the same kind of frets, It's literally looks like... It looks like one of the... is this what it is? Is that what I'm looking at here? Is this... Yeah. These cable tie things, right? That's what these frets look like. It looks like someone just threw a cable tie on and then ratcheted it down really tight. It's not quite that, but it looks like that. Little mini cable ties on there. So it's an interesting instrument. I will probably find use for it. The question is, I've been wanting to get a Saz, and I would probably start out with a bigger one, and he sells those too. So, but it was cool that he just gave this to me. I mean, I'm sure the U.S. dollar goes really far in Turkey. So. I think I paid $3.30 for that, and I'm sure his cost was probably $10, $12 American. But I'm fine. These are all kind of introduction instruments, and if I really decide or I start getting a lot of, it's like the oud. I'm kind of willing to upgrade. Now I'm not going to spend $5 grand on an oud. This place in Saudi Arabia, again, it's like I'm not seeing many ouds over $1,000. So I'm kind of like, well. Are they any good? And I'm not going to fly to Jeddah. Is it Jeddah? I think it was Jeddah. I actually have a friend in Jeddah, so I could stay with him. He's a doctor in Jeddah. He's Saudi, and it's funny. He's the dad of one of our tenants in our building, and he and I are the same age. And she was a student at USC, and she was like studying physical therapy or something like that at USC. And so he would come and stay with her for like 6 weeks at a time. And he would be totally bored. She'd be off at school, and so we hung out a bit. And actually, God bless him, he was one of the first to see our home, and he gave us a nice home-warming gift. And we would go to coffee. Like if he was out in the courtyard when I got up to go to coffee, then he would walk with me over there, and we'd have a good talk. And I'd learn all about Saudi Arabia and stuff. It was really fun. I love meeting people from other places. It's fun to meet. It's funny. In fact, I had a great conversation with a guy from Istanbul in Paris. So I'm at a cafe by myself in Paris, and I start talking to anybody. And I start talking to this guy, and it was just like, it made me want to go to Istanbul so bad. I still want to go. And that's where this guy is, or outside of Istanbul, where this guy is that sold me. He sold me the thing that looks like a frying pan over here. Like you could literally go like camping with this thing, and you have something to cook beans in. But this is a kumbas, and we've talked about this before. It's like a 12-string fretless banjo. It's like literally 3 of the most annoying things I can think of: a 12-string, a banjo, and fretless. And it's all in one. Anyway, but it's pretty fun. Oh, sip again. Take another sip. Drinking game. All right. It's just not staying in there. Cannot get those screws to stay in the wall right there. Fortunately, that thing's not very heavy, so I think we're good. But okay. So I'm going to sign out. Yep, I'm out of here too. Oh, you're out of tea. Oh, so I thought you said I'm out of here, Tom. Well, I'll see you guys later. Next Monday, I'll see you, and I'm not sure. We may continue on this path. Maybe what we'll do is talk about doing this over a blues progression or a rock progression. Okay, and we can kind of hammer home this. Maybe what I'll do is I'll do 2 superimposing scales, like. I'll do the major pentatonic at the same fret as the minor pentatonic. That's really where you want to start to see these things eventually, and that way you can kind of transition from one to the other, or create hybrid scales of the 2, ultimately with more ease. At first, it's like, oh, I got to learn that other scale, but once you learn it, once you have it under your fingers, as my teacher back in the 80s, Carl Verheyen, would say, get it under your fingers. Then it's not really a problem, and you'll start finding melodies. Ultimately, what you want to do is you want to try to play melodies, and that's why I feel like singing along with what you play is great, because it's going to make things more melodic. You're not going to want to sing along with shreddy 1 billion notes per second kind of stuff. You can't sing that. So if you're singing, you're going to create stuff. You're going to tend to play stuff that's much more the kind of thing that 99.9999999% of the people want to listen to. There's that 0.00001% that want to listen to the shredders. I used to be that guy. I used to be one of those guys that bought all those records, and now I can't. It's like I get bored in about 30 seconds. I see, my Instagram feed is chock full of people that do amazing things on the hammering and the hitting and the percussion thing and the two-handed on the. He's like, yeah, it's just like, I mean, that's cool, but I'm bored in a minute. I just, you know, it's just not particularly musical. There are, you know, and then there's, you know, fingerstyle guitars like Chet Atkins. That I could listen to all day. That's different because it's actually music. But the other stuff is more just like, well, look at this cool thing I figured out. It's like, I don't care. So, you know, the shredding thing is handy in the moments you need to create some energy in the middle of a solo. And so it's good to have those chops where you can play some scales or some, you know, phrases very quickly. And I could do that just because when I was young, I wanted to be that guy. So I still have those chops to some degree, but no one ever asks me to do it. Very rarely. I think one session I said, "Hey man, go crazy." I'm like, "Really?" Yeah, no, I want it. It's like I want it to sound like Eddie Van Halen on Speed or something. I'm like, "Really?" I thought Eddie Van Halen was Eddie Van Halen on Speed. No, he was Eddie Van Halen on Heineke. I think that was his drug of choice, sadly. So, and cigarettes. Now Eddie thought he got cancer from his metal picks because he would put them in his mouth, his aluminum picks. So he thought the cancer came from that. I don't know about that, but I don't know where I saw that. Or somebody told me. See, I knew when I first moved to Pasadena, everyone I met that played guitar in Pasadena knew Eddie and knew Van Halen because they were a Pasadena band. And everybody's like, "Oh yeah, I went to school with Eddie," or "Yeah, we jammed together. We had a band together back in junior high," or you know, it was like, oh my gosh, everyone. I'm like, really? And it was like, I wasn't really that into Van Halen. And so I was like a jazz snob at that point. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. You know, didn't think anything of it till later. But all right, Sam, good to see you. Yeah. The first instrument, it was, here's what I had it tuned to. G, G, C, 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 C. Whoops. C, C. Like that. That's what that first one was tuned to. The second one was A, A, D, D, G, G. Sorry. Yeah. The second one was A, A, D, G. Yeah, and that's kind of one of the things that my brain can kind of do. I could sight read on that thing pretty quickly, I think, you know, but in fact, I've got to do some stuff today, so I should probably get going. Anyway, everybody take care. God bless you. I'll see you, Lord willing, next Monday, and we'll pick up from there. Bye.